It is time for you to enter your unbothered guilt era. Because when I tell you the second that you stop stressing about, oh, but this person and that situation, or what's the outcome going to be of that, or what if I don't get this, or what about that mistake I made a year ago, or what does that person think about me now? Once you let all of that go, all of your desires will finally come to you. Because every time you question, but what if, but how do I do this? Oh, I can't do this without them. You are in a state of lack and desperation. And that is literally repellent to the universe, which prevents all of the manifestations which were already on their way to you from coming to you. And that is why this video is all about how you master detachment. This is an actual thing, okay? There is an actual secret to getting all of your desires in life, and it comes from the spiritual law of detachment. And of course, we're going to break this down into all aspects when it comes to yourself, manifesting your goals, dating, relationships, situationships, other people's opinions, you name it. I got it covered in this video. Chapter 1, the laws of detachment explained. See, a lot of people get it twisted because detachment is actually very simple. If you are able to attach in the first place, then you are equally as able to detach. Detachment is the art of experiencing our feelings without letting them control us. It's when you stop taking things personally, you start looking at things objectively, and you no longer get entangled in other people or situations. And the easiest way to understand this is through the 6 principles of the law of detachment. Here we go. 1. Allow others to be who they are. Stop trying to change people, fix them, or force connections that clearly are not there. 2. Allow yourself to be authentic. This practice will finally allow you to detach from the opinions that others have of you. 3. Do not force situations, and this will solidify your new mindset that you are good and complete and content on your own. Your life is perfect because you actively create it, and you don't need anyone or thing to come and save you from it. 4. Uncertainty is reality. It is time to accept that you can't control the outcome to every single situation. Things end. The events we plan might not follow suit. People don't act in the way that we expected them to. But that's okay, and that is completely normal. 5. Know that everything happens for a reason. No matter how much it hurts in the moment or even a year down the line, it still happens within your favor. Every lost friendship, opportunity, person, or event is still working within your favor. This is really about detaching from the temporary sad moments by realizing that solutions will always emerge for you. And finally, 6. Embrace it. Embrace the mistakes. Embrace the loss, the pain, the uncertainty, the negative spectrum of emotions you go through, the bad days, because that's what life is all about. And instead of victimizing yourself and always thinking, why is this happening to me, which is attachment to expectations, you detach by instead saying, what is this trying to teach me? Because you know that the universe, the world, God, whatever you believe in, is working within your favor. You are no longer taking things personally, because now it's not about life attacking you, or you have such a hard life, or you're so unlucky. No, because things always work out in your favor. So if something bad happens, you know that is a lesson that needs to be learned from this, and this is gonna help me move on to the next phase of my life and help me grow into the person that I'm meant to be and flourish. And I'm so grateful for that. So I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. So many people ask, but is detachment healthy? How do you still have a strong connection with people? When is the right time for it? How do you find a balance in being detached? Go. So many people have so many different misconceptions about what being detached is, and I'm here to debunk all of that. For example,
yeah, but how do I become detached in a positive way and not turn cold or hurt the other person's feelings or not feel guilty for being detached?
Why are you feeling guilty for being detached? It's not a bad thing. It's not about turning cold. It's not about being negative, and it's not about not having strong connections with other people. Who has been teaching you all of these things? Detachment is very healthy in all aspects, not only just for you, but for everybody else involved, and this is why. Love without attachment is the purest kind of love, because when you understand that your bond with another person could end at any given moment, and that they could betray you and break your heart at any given moment, but you still decide to take the jump and open your heart to them and care for them and invest your time and energy into your relationship with them, knowing that you might not get anything in return, because they are fully in their right to turn around and leave you, and you are fully in your right to turn around and leave them when they are no longer serving you or aligning with you. But you still stay in the moment because you value their energy and their character that much. That is love. Like, wow, just wow. You are fully aware and okay with the fact that they could hurt you, but you still stay. But on the other hand, society has normalized this version of love, which values attachment and has normalized it to be super romantic. The whole, oh, but I can't live without you, and nobody else compares to you, and you're irreplaceable, and I could never be without you, nobody could compare to you, you are my other half. No, none of that is true. An attachment comes from a place of need and desperation. So why do we get attached in the first place? Let's dive into that for a second. We don't get attached to people to form a strong emotional connection with them, because you can do that when you're detached. We get attached to people because we are using them to fulfill one of our emotional needs that we have not taught ourselves to do yet. Maybe this is because we were abandoned or hurt, and there's a hole in our heart or just a piece of us missing, and we are now using other people to come in and save us and fix that wound for us. We attach to other people and use them as our new safe place, whereas people who are detached and have done the inner work and healing simply don't need to attach, because they have learned to become their own safe place. And this is why you need to start going against everyone else's belief that attachment in love is normal and cute, because it most definitely is not. And truthfully, I could say for all of the loved ones in my life, my family, my friends, whoever I'm dating, I could say I am okay without you. I could leave you and create a great life for myself. I could find new people who maybe I could align with even better. That's because I know myself and I know what I need to have a great life, and it most definitely isn't other people. And even though I have all of that knowledge that even if I left you I could heal and be fully content, I still choose to stay here and be with you. Why? Because it's out of want, not need. You can be deeply involved with someone, love them with your whole heart, care for them, devote your time and energy into them, and still be detached. And a lot of people don't know that. The key is that you can be deeply involved but not entangled. Everyone thinks it's mean or cold or coming from a place of like resentment or deep hurt or trauma, when really detachment in its essence is literally only letting go of any emotions or thoughts that create suffering for me. For example, oh my god, what if they leave me? Oh my god, what am I going to do without them? What if they cheat on me? What about that mistake I made 2 years ago? What if I failed that task? No. When those thoughts come in, they're going to come in. They're normal. And I'm going to allow them to pass through without spending so much time dwelling on them and allowing them to define who I am and what my reality is. So for example, if I have just started dating somebody, sure, I care about you and I'm gonna show up to the dates, I'm gonna plan nice things for us and all of that, but am I worried about what your opinion is of me or whether you like me or what I can do to impress you more? No, I am detached, I'm fine, because even if you don't like me, even if I am giving off a bad impression, that's cool, then leave, because you know why? I'm gonna be fine when that day comes. That's all it is. But in the process, in the present, wherever you are now, I'm still giving you all of my time, love, and energy. AKA, it is always the right time to be detached, and detachment is the perfect balance in life. And right here, I just want to give a quick mention to, if you are scared of being judged for being detached, then you better cut that person off right away, because I hope by everything I've said so far in this video, you understand being detached is a good, healthy, loving thing that you are also doing for everybody else in your life. And if somebody is trying to make you feel bad about doing that, that is not a good person to have in your life. In fact, they might be overly attached, dependent, and needy, and then feel offended as a result that you are not equally trying to get intertwined with them, when in reality all you're doing is trying to protect your peace. And if they don't respect that or think that that's honorable, bye. Detachment is simply being cautious of what you're pouring your energy into. It is not being cold, it is you being responsible over your heart. First of all, don't beat yourself up for falling back into old patterns. It's only natural when you're making a big change in your life. For now, please give yourself a pat on the back for wanting to make the change in the first place and level up your life. You go, girl. But my main step for practicing detachment and staying consistent with it is, one, to start a new goal or hobby, because in this you become so passionate and so involved in something that in that stage you can start testing yourself and your limit. For example, testing yourself to make sure that that new goal or work or whatever doesn't start defining your worth and you're still detached from it while you're also still enjoying it. And I actually think journaling helps with this a lot, to see the origin of where your irrational thoughts are coming from. For example, some people think owning material things will define their success, or that having good grades defines their intelligence. And it's limiting beliefs like those which makes us live in a lack mindset and constantly be attached to external things. And once you actually journal and understand the origin of your attachment, you can then set limits in those particular activities to start practicing detachment instead. So for me, I was very overly attached to other people, relationships, and friendships, so I started solo dating and spending a lot of time on my own so that I could signal to my brain that I was perfectly content in my life and that other people had no control or significant hold over me. Another example is, recently I've grown very overly attached to my daily work and my career. So me setting limits is, I have a habit tracker on my phone and I make sure I have balance in my life, so I'm not attaching and committing all of my time and energy into work because that's not healthy. So the first hour of my day is spent exercising in the gym. That is a non-negotiable. Within my habit tracker, I have a few things to tick off every day that are non-work tasks, like eating a healthy meal, like journaling, even like calling a friend. Like I have to tick that off. And that's me being disciplined, taking control back over my own life and knowing where my triggers are, which is me being attached to my work, and then setting limits in place to avoid me falling into that trap, so that in the process I am practicing detachment. So before we move into chapter 2, here are some detachment affirmations. I have everything I need in this moment. What's meant to be will always find a way. My desires are always seeking me out, so it's safe for me to let them go and trust the process. I am okay with whichever way the situation goes because everything always happens in my best interest. I am aware of my feelings without letting them control me. I am not strict on my idea of how everything should be. Other people and myself can flow freely and I let go of all expectations. I focus on my own energy and my own life. I choose to be free from the good and bad opinions of others. And finally, I release the need to judge or criticize. Chapter 2, Detached while dating. Easy. All you have to do is give dry responses when you're texting, leave before you get left, never let them see you hurt, always act indifferent, know that you can never trust anyone, and always mentally prepare yourself for the worst case scenario every single day. Girl, that is the most toxic advice ever, and that's what everybody thinks it means to be detached when dating, and let me tell you, that is so far from the truth. Please do not follow any of that advice. The following advice I'm about to give applies to dating, situationships, relationships, marriages, breakups, hooking up, romanticizing someone, you name it. It applies to anything under the dating umbrella. So the rule for this chapter is letting go. You are stuck in an energy of lack, scarcity, and fear. And this is a low vibrational energy which repels anything you are chasing after. Therefore, you need to let go of chasing in order to actually attract what you want and what you deserve. You need to reach a mindset where you genuinely don't care if somebody's taking a while to text you back, or they're being distant, or they're not giving you enough attention. And the mindset that's helped me get to this place is the following. A person is only ever asked to experience, and we should be grateful for the limited amount of time we get with them. We are not entitled to their love, time, care, affection, or them being with us forever. So I only focus on enjoying the experience with them rather than worrying about the outcome of what it will be. Because I know I like this person, so I'm so grateful to have the blessing of being able to experience their energy in the present moment, because I don't know how long I'll have it for. And that's okay, because everything in life is temporary. And in the process of having that mindset, I am detaching myself from the thought processes of, oh my god, we're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend, oh my god, we're going to be together forever, and all of this, worrying about where it's going to go. We only ever have ourselves, and this is why I stress self-love and solo dating so much. Because that way, when things don't work out, we are happy to come back home to ourselves. Nothing in life is ours but ourselves. Eventually we lose everything, but we were meant to experience it anyway to get the lesson that it came with, so that we could grow into the people that we were always meant to be. Detachment, aka being okay with the loss, is the realest type of love, because that shows that you're not with someone for your own gain and advantage to heal your own wounds. And then there are the people who just cannot detach from situationships, people who have ghosted them, cheated on them, they're always checking their ex's Instagram stories, obsessing over their crush. Can you hear yourself? Like, actually, can you hear yourself? Because when did it become so normalized to commit so much time to obsessing over other people? I get it, you like them and they liked you too, and you probably shared very nice memories together, and they probably make you feel some type of way that you've never felt for anybody else ever before, but this is still not okay and not normal. Like, if you are genuinely curious and you are asking me, how do I stop obsessing over them? How do I stop wanting to check their Instagram stories all the time? You just stop. I hate to be that guy, okay? And I know I give a lot of magic formulas to everything, but when it comes to this, there is no magic formula except to have some self-control. Because if you've learned anything so far from everything I've taught you on detachment in this video, it's that the only thing we can control is ourselves, and you must relinquish your need to control everything else, okay? You can't control whether they're going to text you back, whether they like you back, whether they're treating you right. All you can control is your action in this scenario. So if you are sick of wanting to constantly check their Instagram stories, you are now going to practice discipline and put limits in place for yourself to help you start the process of you detaching, i.e. block them. If you have a Finsta account to try and stalk people or stalk your ex, delete that. You are literally allowing yourself to get entangled in this person and continue this obsessive attachment. I've taught you what detachment is. I've taught you the principles of the law. You know what it is. You now have to show up for yourself and admit I know what the right decision is, but I am in denial because I'm attached and I clearly don't want to let go. Please be honest with yourself. I think another hugely important principle when it comes to dating and staying detached is not falling in love with the idea of someone. Stop fixating on people. It's not normal. The only person you should be obsessed with is yourself. Whether you're in love with the idea of someone and their potential because you've just started to get to know them, or you could be in love with the idea of someone long after they've exited your life and you're still romanticizing an ex or a situationship. First of all, still thinking about people long after is not a sign of how deep your love was with them or how much you cared about them. The only thing that's a sign of is that you are not okay on your own, and you need to fix up with that. Because a lot of the time we romanticize and we build up this version of somebody in our head because it makes us feel better about ourselves, and it creates this idea of someone that's going to come and save us. But that is not true, and that is another form of you being in denial. And just to push this belief further into your head, I want to say, love doesn't hurt us. Love doesn't betray us, okay? We shouldn't try and quit finding love. It's the attachment is what hurts us and breaks our heart. Our attachment to the idea of what that situation should have been is what hurts us. When you let go of that and you practice detachment and you still fall in love with people and you have deep and meaningful connections with them, but you simply do not prioritize trying to figure out what this situation is supposed to be, and instead you freely flow alongside it and all of your attention is in the present moment rather than the past or the future, there will be significantly less hurt. And lastly, I want to finish this chapter off with talking about why guys detach easier than women. A lot of people have this belief, but it's actually not true. Now, a lot of people might answer this by saying guys can detach much more easily than women because women are more emotional, men act more on logic. Which, yes, technically is true, but it's also still false because men aren't detaching. Men are just pros at suppressing their feelings, acting like they're okay when they are very much not, okay? Women will cry out, they'll feel their feelings, okay? They'll act like a hot mess right now, but then 6 months down the line, they'll be fine, they'll be healed, they would have moved on. Men suppress their feelings over and over and over, and that's why they randomly come back into your life 3 years down the line, because they never heal, they never do the inner work, okay? They put on this detachment front, but men don't know how to do that for the most part. So let's not look at them to be examples for us. And I also want to use this as an opportunity to say, don't see detachment as I need to bury my feelings down and be cold. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's still giving people your heart and still communicating things and expressing your emotions. That is okay and that is allowed. It's putting in the habits and putting in the practice of letting go of control to every outcome. Chapter 3, the importance of detachment when manifesting. I spoke about this briefly in my Lucky Girl Syndrome video, and there was some confusion around it, and I'm here to clear all of that up. Now, one of the things I said is that visualization is a very powerful tool in manifesting your dream life. For example, every night before you fall asleep and you're on your pillow and you're closing your eyes, literally just imagine every single night, this is who I'm going to be, what I'm going to look like, how I'm going to dress, what my work life's going to be like, my weekends, my family, all of that, right? But a lot of people thought, but how do I do that and also be detached? That means I'm thinking about it all the time, I'm obsessing, right? No, because you can vision board your dream life. You can write down your goals. You can work towards them every day. You can imagine them every night before you go to sleep, and you can still be detached because you are not worrying about, but how is it going to become a reality? How am I going to make it happen? But what if this? What if that? I don't have these tools. This isn't realistic, but am I actually going to get that? Get rid of all of those questions. You are too attached to it. You can think about it all the time and work towards your goals and still be detached because you are releasing all of that control, putting it out into the universe and knowing all of your desires are going to come to you because they seek you out just as much as you seek them out. The detachment rule for this chapter is making room. You are giving the universe space to work in your favor and bring all of your desires to you. You are surrendering your plans to the higher power, knowing that things always work out for you. Another amazing way to manifest, and I've been doing this for years, is by journaling. You can either buy a plain notebook and script out your manifestations, or you can actually buy a guided manifestation journal. This is the one that I've been using recently. Okay, look how gorgeous this is. The quality though, and the pages inside literally guides you week by week with practical exercises to allow you to manifest. It's called Manifest by Persis, who has kindly sponsored this video. There'll be more information in the description for you guys to check out. I've literally just been using this for the last week or so. My favorite thing about this journal is that every page is so detailed and offers you something different, and it's structured week by week. And you have your inner check-ins, which I've done. You have your mental health check-in, which is so useful alongside trying to manifest. And I actually discovered a lot of useful manifestation techniques through this journal, which I had never even heard of before. So it is very helpful in actually manifesting my desires. And this is what I mean. You can put in the time and effort to journal consistently in order to manifest your desires and do all of these useful exercises while still knowing you are detached. Because you know, I'm going to put in 5 minutes every night to do some journaling, go to sleep, and know now that I've done that exercise, I deserve my desires. They're going to come to me. I don't have to worry about how it's going to come to fruition. And it's just so practical and easy, and it's literally every manifesting method you need all in one book. And finally, chapter 4, emotional detachment in every other scenario in your life, whether it's family, friends, strangers, the opinions of others, detaching from your past, your future, you name it. The rule to detach from this is all about awareness. It's knowing you're not distancing yourself from people. You are simply freeing your energy from being drained by obsessing about the outcome. You are no longer in a desperate state of mind. So let's start with detaching from our past and our future. A lot of us are heavily attached to our past, especially the mistakes we've made, beating ourselves up for things we've done wrong in the past. Many of us are so haunted by previous versions of ourselves. I know for me, I was for so long. In fact, I would regularly view myself as the version of myself from 6 years ago, even though I'm not that version of myself anymore, just because I had so much trauma around it, and I was literally constantly envisioning my past life rather than living in the present moment. And there are a few ways I got past this. Number 1, read the book The Power of Now. This is the number 1 resource you need to learn about how to detach and stay in the present moment. If you go to the description, my Amazon is linked in there, and it will be in my book recommendations list. Honestly, it's a best-selling book for a reason. Number 2, every single day when I wake up, I act like it's the first day of my life. Meaning when I wake up, I say to myself, if this was the first day of my life with all of the things that I've learned, the wisdom I have, the people I have in my life, my achievements, even my belongings, what would I act like? Who would I be? How much confidence would I have, right? So much more. But because when you don't think like that, and when you are harboring all of these past negative memories from your past, it weighs you down and it lowers your confidence, and that's where a lot of your self-doubt comes from as well. And here's the thing that helped me the most, and a lot of people don't realize it. The past is not real. It doesn't exist. The only thing that life is a collection of present moments, and that is it. We literally only ever have the present. Tomorrow, which is the future right now, when I'm experiencing it, that is the present. I will never be able to actually experience the future or go back and change things in the past. And by constantly reminding myself of that, I was finally able to kind of make my peace with it and realize all I have is this present moment. This 1 second. This second is going to pass so quickly. What is everything I can do to make this the best second, the best minute, the best hour? And by realizing that time is so fleeting, why would I waste the few present moments that I have, because life is so short, by being concerned about a time that no longer exists and that I'm never going to get access to ever again. Another very important principle of this is staying grounded. Don't let your ego take control when it comes to, oh, but I need to be at a certain pace in the future, and if I'm not, then I'm not a good person, or I'm not successful, or that's not going to define my worth in the way I want it to. Similarly, looking at the past and thinking, oh my god, I can't believe I did that, that was so cringe, and like scolding your past self. The past version of you doesn't deserve that. The past version of you, no matter what they did, they were acting on the level of awareness they had at that moment in time. And also, everything they did back then got you to where you are now, so in fact, you should be thanking them for all of their failures, strengths, and weaknesses. And finally, detachment when it comes to other people, their opinions of us, their approval of us. Let's talk about parents, for instance. Of course, all we ever want to do is get our parents' approval and make them proud of us, but that can be very problematic in the long run. So how do we detach from that when we've literally been raised to chase that approval? And my answer to this is to finally put worth and value to yourself and attach to your own sense of approval and validation. Every single rule, law, principle that I've mentioned on detachment applies to this section of the video and dealing with other people as well. So all I'm going to say for this final part of the video is you are so concerned with other people's opinions of you, and you are always trying to chase others' approval of you, because once again, you are looking for emotional fulfillment outside of yourself. Until you do the work and you come back home to yourself and you give yourself that love and approval, you are constantly going to be in a state of chasing it from other people because you are so attached to external circumstances. You need to start attaching to yourself in order to become detached from everything and everyone else. For example, you don't like what I'm doing? That's fine, because I have attached to myself in the way that no matter what anybody else says, I sat down and I've had a conversation with myself. I have scripted and journaled my goals and who I want to become and where I want to go in life, that I am so fully aware of who I am that nobody can shake that. all of the disapproval in the world could not shake that. Because I know myself too much. I'm too comfortable with myself. I love myself too much. I also know to never take anything personally. A lot of the times our parents try to push us onto a certain path of success or certain things to do because they're acting on their own ego. And I am very aware of that. Just as if my friend was disapproving of me or a stranger didn't get what I was up to, that's fine. No one's ever going to fully understand me. So why would I attach to their opinion of me? Because it's invalid, it's irrelevant to my life. No one in this life can determine my worth or what I should do other than myself, because I am the only person on this planet that actually 100% knows myself. Everybody else's opinions and approval is just a combination of their own projections, trauma, life lessons, and mindset. That's got nothing to do with me. So why would I ever listen to it? And that mindset right there, reminding myself of that every day, is detachment. Sometimes you gotta lose a couple friends to find your peace and level the F up in life. There are so many movies, TV shows, books, videos, courses, articles out there teaching us how to deal with a romantic breakup, and nearly nothing on how we move on from a friendship breakup. And today, that changes. I have dealt with several friendship breakups throughout my life, all very different to each other. Two of them were my best friends. We had been friends for over a decade, so it was a really heavy friendship breakup. Others were just newer acquaintances who then stabbed me in the back and betrayed me. So then there was toxicity and drama that I had to deal with. And I've also been through more natural endings where we outgrow each other and it's still love, but we just shouldn't be friends anymore. Life has truly given me way too many lessons on a friendship healing process, and in this video, I'm going to share them all. Option number 1, how to deal with the conflict and the drama that comes from starting to break up with your friend. Firstly, get the worst part out of the way and just discuss toxic types of friends and how to move away from that. You owe absolutely nothing to a person who is adding toxicity into your life. This can be anything from backhanded compliments, jealousy, insults, leaving you out, disrespecting you, constant arguments. I think first and foremost, we need to understand friendships are supposed to be easy. They are supposed to be a solid foundation in our lives full of love and care and mutual support and respect. I have had best friends in my life for several years now, and we have never had one single argument. Disagreements? Sure. Times where we had to communicate with each other? Sure. Never fallen out. They've never disrespected me. We've never gone behind each other's backs. And even with all of that, that's not the reason I'm friends with them. All of that is just bare minimum. The bare minimum of friendship is truly kindness, respect, loyalty. And if they don't even have the common courtesy to do that much, why are you out here stressing about how you're going to walk away from the friendship, how you're going to end it? You're literally doing a disservice and a massive disrespect to yourself. Unfortunately, I do understand the mindset, because when I was a teenager and I was stuck in a school with someone who was my best friend, but it was very toxic and I wanted to leave so badly, I refrained from doing so because I was so afraid of the aftermath and what people were going to say, and if I was going to be the villain of the story. This person was supposed to be my best friend. She was constantly competing with me, constantly leaving me out to go and chase popularity, would talk behind people's backs all of the time, which just drained my own energy, and she literally physically hurt me once. I was still her friend. We had so many arguments, back and forth, on and off, but I was so attached to her because we had been friends for so long, our families were intertwined, and it was something that was really hard to let go of. Most importantly, I knew she was going to make a huge drama of it at school if that was going to happen. And after years of putting up with her, I finally decided to leave the friendship. I said, hey, I don't want to be a friend because X, Y, Z. And then I left it at that. And my worst fear came true, which is that she went around telling everyone, twisting the story. Loads of people took her side. People were coming up to me, asking about the drama. Why would you stop being friends with her? I just prolonged that friendship breakup for so long because I was trying not to upset the balance of things. I was majorly being a people pleaser. And I was also just romanticizing the good parts of our friendship and using that to define her character, rather than taking a step back and objectively looking at the facts, which is we can have a fun time and we can have a laugh, and yes, you understand me and we know each other's secrets, but that does not justify all of the bad. I would say to my younger self, you are abandoning yourself on a day-to-day basis with every second you continue to decide to put up with this treatment. You are surrounding yourself with someone with such negative energy who you don't even like, and as a result, you are drained every single day. And then your vibration is lowered every single day. So now, not only are you sabotaging your friendship experience, but also your entire life. Because now, where is that energy gonna come from for you to succeed and excel in every other area of your life? Your studies, your career, growing into a better person. I was so consumed with how I was perceived and everybody else's opinions and what people were gonna think about the fact that I stepped away from this friendship. Even though I knew I didn't do anything wrong, it mattered to me what other people's narrative was gonna be of the situation. And now that I'm an adult and I ended up getting everything I wanted, I look back and I'm like, F all of you. That wasn't even your business. And if someone is going to believe one side of the story and use it to define and attack your character, they were never your person in the first place. But if you just go into every single day thinking, does this bring me closer to my higher self? All of your daily decisions get a whole lot easier. Because if you are friends with a toxic person, and then you can imagine a 20-year-old, 25-year-old, 30-year-old version of you that's still friends with them, how does that make you feel? Toxic friendships are a tough one though, and sometimes we really need someone to talk to. And with that, I think it's really important that you talk to someone and seek advice from someone who is unbiased. And this is where online therapy can help you. Now, this video is a paid partnership with BetterHelp, which is an online therapy service which will help you get the help and advice you need from the comfort of your own home and completely flexible to your budget and your time schedule. When I was struggling with friend drama back in school, I wish I was aware of this platform, because sometimes you really just need somebody to vent to who's going to understand your personal situation so that then you can get some practical advice. And because I believe that that is so important to this entire process of healing and just getting through the process of broken friendships, I have got a special discounted link for you guys to use BetterHelp, which is in the description. BetterHelp have made it a priority to offer the most comfortable and flexible form of therapy so that you can chat with your therapist on the phone, on a video call, or even via messaging. To get started, all you have to do is fill out a questionnaire to assess your specific needs, and then you'll get matched to a therapist that will be best suited to help you in your personal situation in 48 hours or less. You can schedule your therapy sessions at any time that's convenient for you, and if after a while of doing your sessions you've decided that actually you and your therapist aren't a match, then you can switch to somebody else at no extra cost, and that is something you don't get in real life therapy. It's actually one of my favorite features of the platform. We spend so much of our time worrying about what others think of us and overwhelming ourselves with our own emotions, and I think it's honestly time that we reinvest all of that energy back into bettering ourselves. So if you're interested in therapy and you want to get some personal advice on your situation when it comes to friendships, then choose BetterHelp. I have a unique BetterHelp link below in the description. Clicking that link actually helps support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. Next, I want to talk a little bit more about when you come off as the villain when you decide to leave a friendship, because I think this is a massive obstacle for a lot of people who want to leave but stop themselves from doing so. There are going to be people that you loved and just valued so much, and when you decide to show up for yourself to end that friendship, they will do their best to twist the story and make it out like you are the bad one. Reactive abuse is when someone can be manipulating you, mistreating you, yelling at you, swearing at you, insulting you, just doing you so wrong. And then if you react to their disrespect and you get a little bit angry or you yell back, they stop because now they're happy. They got exactly what they wanted. They wanted you to overreact so that they could tell everybody else about how disrespectful you were for reacting to their disrespect of you. And I know this can be so stressful and unfair, but I just want you to realize if they couldn't even be a healthy friend to you, what makes you think that they were going to deal with the breakup in a healthy way? Of course, they're going to be blindly unaware of the fact that they mistreated you and be absolutely unable to take any accountability at all. Of course, they're never going to admit where they went wrong. You know why? Because they're not even aware of it themselves. Because taking that type of responsibility takes a certain level of security, confidence, and emotional intelligence, which they clearly do not have if they were a toxic friend in the first place. Listen, people can only see as far as their self-perception goes. So some people are so damaged and insecure that they've had to build up their ego to make themselves feel better. So they now have this overinflated ego, which then leads to their toxic and arrogant behavior. These people are at war with themselves, not you. They are working overtime to comfort their own ego, because otherwise they have to confront all of their self-hatred and insecurity. And this is exactly why they will act out, they will disrespect you, they talk behind other people's backs, they try to put themselves above other people able to comfort themselves, because that is the only way they will ever feel okay with being them. Because a person who is confident and secure in themselves actually has the ability to be able to take a step back and think, actually, maybe the way I said that was wrong, or maybe I shouldn't have done that, or you know what, I did mess up, it was really bad that I did that, I'm sorry, and I'll try to do better and trying to work through that. If someone is not willing to confront themselves like that for you to be able to save your friendship, they were never your friend in the first place. Your friendship was merely a place of convenience for them, because if it wasn't, they would be fighting day and night to try and get you back and prove that they will change and do better and communicate with you in order to keep you in their lives. So if you are going through a breakup and you are scared of the drama and the aftermath, all I have to say is stop worrying about defending yourself. Stop worrying about how you're going to be perceived after this. Because why would you try to waste your own energy and precious time defending yourself to a person you don't even want back in your life? What is the point? What is it going to get you? Stop worrying so much about your reputation. Your reputation is what other people think of you. Your reputation represents other people's validation of you. Instead, you should worry about your character. Your character is exactly who you are and who you believe yourself to be and who you are building yourself up to be. That is self-validation. That is self-love. That is you prioritizing yourself over the opinions of others. Okay, now that we have the worst part out of the way, let's talk about general friendship breakups because they're so common. And here it is important to ask yourself, how do we actually correctly confront a friend? Because a lot of the times, a breakup isn't necessary. Sometimes it's just about being an adult and getting that communication through. If the friendship isn't toxic and you truly care about this person, they have been there for you and they've proven their value as a friend, then all you have to do is give them the benefit of the doubt that this might be a misunderstanding, because we never know what another person might be going through. Your responsibility is to stand up for yourself, set your boundary, communicate what is wrong, and then you use their reaction to assess what your decision is going to be. When it comes to confronting friends, I personally don't believe in warnings. I don't think you should text someone and be like, hey, I need to talk to you. Like, you just gotta stick it on them, okay? You don't want to give someone time to prepare what they're gonna say because you want them to be as honest as possible. And I know it might feel so uncomfortable that you're like, oh, you know, I'll just leave it, I'll let the time pass and then we'll be okay again. But what you don't realize is, once again, you are betraying yourself because you are allowing someone to hurt you and take advantage of you, and then there are no consequences. There is no part where you are putting your boundaries into place to actually assess, is this person worthy of my time and my energy and my friendship? Because nobody discusses how important conflict is to love and to friendship. It's such a necessary part of your relationship with somebody. It has to happen because it shows you how much that person actually cares about you. If you can only be in your friendship because things are good 100% of the time and you keep your mouth shut, that's not an equal friendship. On the other hand, if you've already decided, like, no, I don't want to be in this friendship, there's nothing they could say to try and make me stay in this, then don't overthink the breakup. In these cases, I actually don't like to do it in person because it's like, what's the point? You're literally wasting your time, and this person is going to try and reel you in or make you feel bad or give you excuses, but you've already told yourself, this is my boundary now. I don't want to be friends with this person. So don't go out there and then allow them to still have access to you. You either send them a text explaining why, or you call them on the phone and say it, but you don't over-explain yourself because you're completely within your right to realize, actually, I don't want you in my life anymore and I want to do what's best for me, and that is completely okay and understandable. And in these cases, when you're trying to end a friendship, I think the key to this is just be as polite as you possibly can. Don't use this as an opportunity to attack the other person, to criticize them, to list out all of the bad things they've done. You literally just say, hey, I've been feeling so-and-so way for a while now. There are certain events that have led me to feeling this way, you know, whatever your personal situation is. And then you're just nice and you end it with, but I'm always wishing you well. I'm never going to have anything against you. I just have to take time for myself. When you're breaking up with a friend, make it about you. You have to make it a priority to leave it classy and dignified and keep the respect there, because you can't forget about the fact that this was a person that was there for you at one point, that you shared so many happy memories with at one point. People come into our lives for a temporary period of time and they are not entitled to the rest of our lives. Next up, let's talk about friendship standards. In particular, the questions you need to ask yourself to assess whether this friendship is worth trying to save and resolve. I truly believe that evaluating friendships is so important, and even if there hasn't been an argument, even if nothing's gone wrong, I think everyone should make it a habit that every 3 or every 6 months, you evaluate all of the people in your life and if they still align to you, if they're still positively influencing you. Because it's not always about everything needs to come crashing and burning down and there has to be this big argument and excuse for me to be able to lead this person's life. No, your level of self-love needs to be so high that you are so picky with the energy you surround yourself with, because you know how much that's going to impact you on a day-to-day basis. And you need to ask yourself these following questions. Do you still get excited to spend time with them? Do they align with your future and your higher self? Are they a positive influence on you? Do you trust them with all of your secrets, and do you believe that they are loyal to you? Are the conversations you have together fulfilling? Do you leave them feeling happy or drained? How do they make you feel about yourself? What is their relationship with themselves like, and how does that impact you? For example, insecurity, I think, is the biggest killer of healthy friendships. If someone is constantly at war with themselves, just like I said with the toxic friend, they're going to make your life hell just by having you there by association. Can you truly say that you respect the person they are and you will support them on their journey of growing into the person that they want to be? I do think it's very important to ask yourself questions on what this person brings into your life, but sometimes we also need to have a look at ourselves and think, actually, am I capable of being a good friend to you? Do I really like and respect you that much? That's very important to answer, because you shouldn't want to waste anyone's time either. Do you feel that your energy and effort is reciprocated in this friendship? Are they heavily reliant, codependent on you and only reach out when they need something? Do they make an active effort to understand you and accept you, or do they try to change you, influence you, and manipulate you? Could you go to them in a time where you were struggling and fully feel supported and heard and seen? And lastly, if someone was talking bad about you to them, would they defend you? Would they tell you about it? You know it's time to move on from a friendship, not because they're a bad person, not because there's loads of drama, but even small things like when you hold off on telling them big things that are happening in your life or achievements because you feel like they're just not going to get it, or they might not even respond well to it. When you dread any sort of communication with them, a FaceTime, a text. When you don't feel fulfilled and you're not having meaningful conversations with them. When you imagine a reality where you have a better circle of friends and they have all of these qualities that your current set of friends do not possess, that is a good enough reason to leave, because it is impacting all of your manifestations and your ability to attract this life that you want, but you are not doing anything to get. Because in order to attract that new, you have to let go of the old. And when you are staying in places that you have outgrown and that do not deserve your time, do not align with you, do not light you up inside, you are showing the universe that you are in a state of lack. Because you are just accepting what you have because you are too fearful to go out there, start again, try something new, to actually get something that aligns to you. It shows that you're not secure in yourself, you're not confident enough, so you're going to keep these friends in your life that you don't even want to be around, rather than having enough confidence to know these are gonna go and it's fine because my tribe is coming to me. They want me as much as I want them. And in the meantime, I have enough self-love to keep myself occupied, so I'm okay. And also, I want you to remember that sometimes things have to fall apart to make way for our new life. It's such a normal part for us to lose people, for us to learn things through arguments and conflicts. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're terrible at relationships and friendships. Look at me, I've been through plenty and I'm in my early 20s. But I look back on all of these instances now and I'm like, that had to happen for me to attract this sort of lifestyle. Thank God I didn't hold on to what I thought I wanted. So the first step to letting go of friends that don't align with you and actually having the courage to cut these people off is to understand that you deserve better. You need to get so fearless in your self-obsession and all of the abundance that you want for your life that why would you have any fear of drama? It's irrelevant. Everyone's situation is different, so you don't even have to quickly cut someone off straight away. Just do one act of self-love for yourself, which is just branching out into other areas of your life. Join a class, ask someone that you admire on your Instagram for a coffee, speak to mutual friends, try to introduce yourself, show up to events. Do you know how many networking groups there are on Facebook for girls are in their 20s, for girls that live in London, for girls who rent, all these different groups so girls can actually meet each other. Bumble has a BFF feature so that you can actually find friends online now. You need to stop prioritizing their temporary confusion over your daily satisfaction. Okay, sure, they might be hurt. They might be like, oh my God, I've just lost a friend. They're gonna get over it after a few weeks. And if you don't do that, you have to continue living your life every single day dissatisfied. That is not a fair trade-off. And then lastly for this chapter, I want to talk a little bit about friendship ghosting, because I actually had my own experience with this recently. Yes, you should reach out. If you care about this person, do it. Put your ego aside, because you never know what someone's going through. I went through a period where I had to ghost my own friends because I was severely depressed, and I am so grateful for the girls who understood it. They were like, cool, we're here when you're ready. They didn't use it against me. I had other friends when I was depressed who did use it against me, and we're not friends anymore because of that, because they couldn't give me the benefit of the doubt at a time where I was struggling. This is you taking responsibility and control for your own life. So you send them the text and you're super nice about it, and you're like, hey, how you doing? It's been a while, let's catch up. And then you leave the ball in their court. You send that one text or you call that one time, and then you do not chase. And this links into my own personal experience. So I'll give you guys the story time of how I dealt with this. I made this new friend. They were a little bit older than me. They were really aligned to my business mindset, what I wanted to talk about, my growth mindset. We had the most fulfilling and deep conversations. This person was so different from all of my hometown friends. And I just felt so happy and fulfilled every time I saw them, even though it was like every few months because we lived quite far apart. I was so grateful, and I thought this is the start of like finding my new aligned tribe. So we had a great friendship. It went on for about 2 years until I just stopped hearing from them, which was really weird. You know, this person used to like all my Instagram stories, reply to my stories. We'd be talking on Snapchat here or there. And it had been 2 months and just nothing. And I was starting to get really worried, and I thought, okay, you know, maybe I'm just overthinking it. So I waited a while. It was my birthday. They said absolutely nothing throughout my entire birthday. We didn't wish me a happy birthday, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is weird. Have I done something wrong? And like I said, it requires some emotional intelligence. You need to step yours back and think, how does it mean to trigger this person? Okay, sometimes we do things unintentionally. So I sent them a text. I said, hey, it's been a while, would love to catch up. How are you doing? That's it. Super nice, right? I wasn't about to get all attacky and be like, well, how are you not messaging me? I can't believe you didn't say happy birthday. This is the worst way to handle it, because once again, this person has added so much value and joy into my life. I'm not going to use one little slip up to define their entire character. I sent that message. I waited and I waited and I waited. I sent that message about 2 years ago, and I still don't have a response. That person didn't even open my message, and despite all of that hurt, I didn't do anything else. I wasn't going to send another message. I wasn't going to call them up. I wasn't going to start arguing. I removed them off all my social media because I was like, I don't need this constant reminder of you. I'm trying to protect my peace, okay? Normalize unfollowing people. Normalize blocking people. And me removing them like that after they showed me their true intentions meant that I could finally start my healing process. And that leads us onto chapter number 2, how to move on and how to heal after going through a friendship breakup. The first step is forgiveness and letting go of grudges. You need to accept that people are going to live life in the way that they want to, because that is their birthright. Just like you deserve to do things that are in your best interest, so do they. And if that means them living a life completely without you, then so be it. You have to remember they followed out those actions based on whatever circumstances they're experiencing in life right now, which majority of the time, none of us know anything about. We don't know the inner workings of someone's mind, their mindset, how they look at the world, what their personal values are. Okay, you did this. And yes, it hurt, and now I have to go through a whole healing journey. However, if this makes you happy, and if this is going to make life a little bit more bearable for you, and you made the decision that is going to positively impact your life, then cool, then it's good. Then I'm glad that that's what had happened and you honored that, and now it's time for me to honor that as well, because you can't win 100% of the time. There are going to be times where you're going to cut off someone and you're going to hurt their feelings, and in that case you're the one who did what was best for you. And if you want to be able to have that privilege, you have to let other people have that privilege. And I was literally trying to come up with this narrative that would justify why our friendship ended, because I was so hurt by it. And I stressed myself out so much trying to figure it out until I eventually just let it go. I let it go, because at the end of the day, we're not friends. And they didn't have the common courtesy to give me an explanation or say goodbye like I would have done to them. And that's enough. That disrespect is my closure. And with that, I refuse to see them as a villain, because I'm always going to appreciate the laughs. I'm always going to appreciate the memories. Plus, making people out to be the villain and holding up all this anger, resentment, and grudges does more damage to yourself than the other person. Because think about it, is it really going to get the friendship back? No. Is it going to get them to realize what they did wrong? No. Is it going to drain you of your energy and lower your vibration every single day, making you into a bitter, resentful, miserable person? Yes. Do you know how good life gets when you just decide to stop giving a harsh truth, but you need to realize you are choosing to allow the situation to consume you. You are choosing to be overly emotional about it. You are choosing to have a victim mindset about it. I'm not saying you can't be sad. Losing a friendship can oftentimes hurt 10 times more than a relationship because you never saw it coming and you really expected them to be in your life. And that's why we need to take detachment into our futures, but I'm going to talk about that later. And for that, yes, you need to grieve and you need to move on, but you also need to try your best every single day to just make the conscious decision to think a little bit differently. To think, actually, let me try to be grateful for what I do have today. Let me try to shift my focus onto other things so then I can raise my vibration back up, so then I can show up as my 100% best capacity in every other area of my life. Another thing which just majorly shifted my mindset and has granted me so much peace in dealing with friendship breakups is I don't take it personally. So I don't look at it as me versus the friend. I take a step back and I look at it from above, like this is me and the universe. This person is just an experience. Their actions have got nothing to do with me. This does not define me or my character or what I'm worthy of. I take a step back and I look at it like, oh, this was the universe granting me a lesson. This was a favor actually, because now I have more wisdom. Actually, this isn't personal because everybody has to go through a broken friendship at one point or another in their lives, and they have to learn how to grow from that. And then from those lessons, they can then adjust their friendship standards, which will then lead them onto the path where they find the friends that actually deserve them. And they never would have been on that path had they not got their heart broken from that friend in the first place to learn, this is what I will tolerate and this is what I will not tolerate. People ask me all the time, how do you know what you know at such an early age? And it's simple, it's because I don't take things personally and I'm always trying to get a lesson out of these things, because that is what life is about. Life is like a game where we're constantly trying to level up. We're constantly trying to become more knowledgeable and grow into the next version of ourselves. And we can't get to the next version without completing all of the obstacles on our current level to then gain the knowledge to then be able to move on to the next level of our lives where there's next level obstacles. There's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be adversities. But you get to become stronger and stronger and stronger versions of yourself throughout all the adversities that you experience in life if you decide to have that perspective. When the experience is really raw, one thing that always helped me is just writing it down, just so I can release all of the emotion through my words and get it out of my body. I don't want to be suppressing those feelings. I don't want to be holding on to the situation any longer. You can understand what caused it, or maybe not, or you can understand, how am I going to grow from this? How am I going to avoid this next time? What red flags did I not notice? Turn it more into a productive experience rather than sitting in your room crying, wondering, why did this happen to me? And when you reach that level of detachment where you realize people are experiences and lessons and nothing is personal, you can finally make peace with the experiences you had with them. I don't believe that we have to delete every single picture and memory of our friends. You shouldn't want to erase your life experiences and wish it away. Just because things ended doesn't mean the time that you were together shouldn't be celebrated. That girl that I was friends with for a decade in school, and then everyone took her side and everyone made me the villain, that story I told earlier, I still look back at our friendship fondly. And I actually regret deleting all of our pictures. I wish I could look back at it now, because yes, it did end bad, but we had a lot of fun times together, and she still majorly influenced the person I am today. And I think she was a very necessary part of my life experience, and I'm so grateful to have had the experience of having a sister-like friendship. That was amazing. No, she didn't deserve another day in my life, and I'm so glad that I don't have that energy in my life now, because you slowly realize all of these experiences are important parts of your journey. Nothing happens on accident. These are all things that are carving you out to be the person that you were always meant to be. These people are tools, in a way, that bring out certain parts of you, that influence you, that help you grow. You should never want to erase parts of your life just because they were imperfect, because the imperfect parts are what craft the perfection in your life later. And then lastly for this chapter, I want to talk about the process of romanticizing your ex-friends, missing them, which is such a normal part of the healing journey, and trying to move on. You need to realize that not everything you lose is a loss. So many of our losses are actually hidden blessings that are leading us to what we always wanted. And so the best way to stay sane in this process of missing things and romanticizing the old, which is like totally understandable, is, I think, to keep a list of all of your desires. To hold yourself accountable in the times where your mind is running a bit wild with nostalgia. Write it in your journal, pull up the notes app on your phone, write a bullet pointed list of every single thing you would want in a friendship. Either the experiences you want to have, the qualities of the friend you want to have, the type of relationship and bond you're going to have, how that's going to feel, what you're going to do together, what type of conversations are you going to have, What friendship activities will you do? How often will you see each other? It holds you accountable, because nostalgia can trap us into romanticizing so many things that are bad for us. So that way, when you obsess and when you miss them and when things are getting lonely and you're like, this is hard and things were just easier when I had a group of friends, you're going to look at the list and you're going to be reminded of all of what's to come. And that if you go back and if you succumb to these temporary sad feelings, you are sacrificing all of that list that you wrote out. That is your potential of what you could be experiencing in the friendship area of your life. And lastly, you gotta teach yourself to be okay with or without anyone. I don't care what anybody else says, obsessing over broken friendships is not normal. It's not. Because yes, you will hurt, and yes, you will grieve, and you will have to go through the discomfort of creating a new life with new people in a new environment, whatever. But obsessing over the lack of somebody else's presence in your own life and having FOMO, wondering what they're thinking about you, if they miss you, have they moved on yet, is a serious disconnect to yourself. You should be so obsessed with yourself that your mindset becomes, yes, I am grieving, and yes, this is hard and it has hurt my feelings, but I am so proud of myself that I did what was right. I am so proud of myself that I voluntarily chose the discomfort and the path of most difficulty, which was to separate myself from what I've always known, to instead chase the opportunity of my full potential, of my higher self. The last thing that I would ever chase in life is a person, really. I'm busy chasing the woman I want to become. I'm busy chasing the lifestyle that I want to experience. I'm chasing to build up the career that I want to have. I want to chase after the travel experiences that I want to say I completed. You have to wake up every single day and think, okay, yes, I am missing what was in the past and what I had with them. What am I going to do today? Because all the control and power we have is only in the next 24 hours. It's in this current moment that we're experiencing right now. What am I going to do today? Am I going to reach out to someone? Am I going to work on myself and journal so that I can overcome the friendship trauma that I might have endured, which might then affect future friendships I'm going to have? Am I going to compile my list of desires? Am I going to mingle? Am I going to go to that party? Am I going to join a society at my uni so that I'm put in a room where I can meet new people? And lastly, chapter number 3. I think it's really important to just discuss the general aftermath of what it's like to have lost a friend and what that means for you, but also how important that experience is for you and how it's going to impact you. So first off, you may be wondering how you're going to deal with the loneliness of once you finally cut them off, you've done the healing process, but now who do you have, right? You have yourself. You can be alone and completely content. Loneliness is a sign that you aren't coming home to yourself. Why are you not your own best friend? Time between losing your friends and finding a new tribe is where you build up your self-love. Because that self-love has to last you a lifetime. It's not a bridge between relationships and friendships. It is the foundation that then influences what experiences and relationships you even accept into your life. You're sad about losing your friend as if it doesn't just mean that a 2.0 version of them is going to come along because now you're a better person because of that breakup and you have higher standards because of it. Lucky you. This is the most important time for you to learn who is like-minded to you, what qualities you're actually looking for in a person, because I can't tell you what to look for. That is completely personal to you. So you need to focus on your life experiences and what lessons you can extract from them in the traumas and the breakups that you've gone through. So I'll share my personal experience. I only recently learned the importance of self-esteem in friendships. That was never a standard that was on my radar, but I had to go through some pretty ugly friendship breakups to be able to learn it. And as a result of learning that, along with so many other lessons from the last decade of friendship breakups I've been through, I had the bestest of friends I could ever ask for. These people are so secure in themselves, they are so cool, they are so supportive of me, there's no bad vibes, there's never been a singular argument in years. And the last point I'm going to share in this video is all about detachment, which I have touched on all throughout this video, and is basically the common theme of all of this advice, which is to stop taking things personally, to stop using other people's actions to define your character and what you're worthy of, because people are merely experiences. Nothing has to last a lifetime for it to be significant. Someone could have been your friend for 3 months and then you have this big nasty friendship breakup. Doesn't make them any less significant. They still influenced who you were and the decisions you're going to make, and you're going to shift your perception from now that when you are going into friendships, you are not going to become overly attached to them. When you start already imagining a person in your future, when they haven't even earned the place to be in that future yet, they haven't even put in the time, the effort and the energy to have earned that place in your future, and you're already giving them that place in your head. You're already attaching yourself to this person that I'm only going to be okay with their presence in my life, and I need this group of friends. You are then so susceptible to settling for people who don't value you and who don't treat you in the way you deserve, and you are therefore sacrificing all of the experiences you could have had with people that are actually waiting for you, that do want to give you the world, that do align to you. Open your heart, be loving, be joyful, fully immerse yourself in the experience of having friends, because it's such an important part of life, but don't attach yourself to the point where you are too afraid to leave them, because that is just as much of an important part in your life, in your self-growth, in your relationship to yourself, and in constantly growing and evolving as a human. We don't stay the same people our entire lives. It's completely normal to outgrow friends. It's actually such a positive sign that you are going in the right place in life. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please comment down below what your favorite lesson was from this video, because I would love to know. I always give your comments a read.